Walker with Just Ask Tatum. Guys, I am back better than ever. And the reason that I picked today, September 1st, 2025, I know you guys have been waiting. You're like, why hadn't Tatum launched yet? It's because this month is very true and dear to my heart. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I know you're probably asking, Tatum, why would you pick this month? Well, you've got bullying. You've got people who are taking their life in their own hands. Look at everything that I have been through in my life in the past couple years, what me and my family, and I say my friends too, because they've endured it. They've watched me go from here to here and slowly climb my way back. And I still haven't hit the top again. But I will, because of God, my friends and family, and you guys. So, with that being said, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why this is so near and dear to my heart. You guys know it's fixing to be, or it will be 3 years since I've lost my father. And actually, I think it's almost 4 years now. It's over 3 years. And this coming April, well, this last April was the year that I lost my son. Guys, when I tell y'all that God got me through, me and one of my friends were talking last night, and she said, Tatum, you're one of the strongest people that I know. You need to tell your story. You need to say why you act so hard. But guys, let me explain something to you. It doesn't matter on the outside looking in. It matters in the inside is what counts the most. And when I tell you guys that I was at the lowest of the low, you guys wouldn't believe me. But one thing about me, and all you guys know about Tatum, I tell it like it is. I don't hold nothing back. What you see is what you get. And as the famous words, and I will never forget it, is from Danielle Staub on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. She said, either love me or hate me. There's no in between with me. And that saying has stuck with me for years. And it's because it's the truth. Guys, even your haters, I tell you every day, make them your motivators. You know why? Are they paying your bills? Are they telling you how to live your life? They're trying to, but they have no life of their own to live. So they live through you. So take them haters, guys, and make them your motivators and motivation to success. Because every time they're watching you, they're putting money in your pocket. You just don't, some of you don't know it. I didn't know it for a long time. So you take the worst things in life, turn the negative into a positive. Listen to me, and you can be successful. Some of you look at me and say, Tatum, but you started out as a success. That is a lie. We're going to talk a little bit about that right now, and I'm going to share some stories with you guys. I'm going to try to make it fun, because I know, guys, when you watch a video, some of you, and I know I'm the same way, I'm like, are they going to ever get to the point, or are they ever going to shut up? Okay, this is a Southern thing, guys. Y'all know I don't have a proper, I have a proper Southern accent, but I say y'all, I say backers, I say breakfast, and if you don't like it, scroll, okay? Everybody has their own accent. People I know from New Jersey, to me, they have a cool accent. People from London, Scotland, as they say, they have a cool accent. New Yorkers, I have a friend in Delmar, and she has an accent. I've always told her when she lived in South Georgia, honey, you still got that accent. So, I'm not prim and proper. I might like to dress, but that's why they call me the Country Diva. Because, as I say in my song, Country Diva, yes, you can download it on any of the streaming services. I actually say, just because you're country doesn't mean you wear Wranglers. I was a person that didn't fit the typical standards, okay? So you be who you want to be. So let's start out by talking about bullying. Bullying in school, bullying is everywhere, guys. It's not just people when they're children. It's in adults. It's in senior citizens. Bullying is everywhere. Heck, bullies in animals. I just watched my animal a while ago. I watch them bully every day. I watch my goats. They pick on my sheep. They do. Anyway, bullying's everywhere. So let's talk about that. And I know a lot of you say, Tatum, how are you an expert? I'm going to tell you how I'm an expert. Growing up in a small South Georgia town, my parents were 37 and 36 when they had me. I was kind of a big surprise. And you ask why? My parents were married 11 years before I come along. And my mom had endometriosis so bad that they told her she would never have kids. Well, you ask what happened. Let me tell you this. Her and one of her good friends, her friend, they had been trying to have a baby. So she was going to the doctor to take a test. Well, she asked my mama to go with her. Well, my mama goes with her and she says, Estelle's my mama's name. And she says, Estelle, will you pee in the cup with me? And my mama said, what? We peeing in the same cup? I know we ain't peeing in the same cup. She said, no, silly, just pee, because she was nervous. My mama said, well, whatever. So my mama peed in the cup and took a test with her. Well, the doctor comes out into the waiting room, or, the exam room where they're sitting, and she says, well, congratulations. And my mama looks there and says, I told you, I knew it. She said, not her, you. My mama looks at her, and y'all got to know, and y'all get to see my mama. Y'all going to see her on the episode about Joseph. She looks at her and she says, I can't be pregnant, I'm wore out. My mama, she's 36 years old, she's talking about she wore out. And I mean, it was hilarious. But yep, my mama was pregnant. And here come little Tatum. And to be an only child growing up with parents like Luther, my dad being Luther Thrift, being the granddaughter of the great, and when I tell you the great, Judge George Tatum Thrift, it was some big shoes to fill. A lot of people don't understand that. My daddy, literally, and I know a lot of you say, well, I had a great daddy. Anybody can have a great daddy. But when I tell you Luther Thrift was the closest thing to a saint that I have ever seen or met, he was. And can I back that? Oh yes, I can. Anybody that knew him, that man loved, and when I tell you he loved hard. Not just for friends and family, he loved for people. He wanted to see people love each other and, as he would say, act like a human being and have that kind of heart that any of us dream to have. And no matter how hard, it had the love for the Lord. He was asked several times, Luther, why won't you be a preacher? He said, because God didn't call me to do that. And I always would listen to him when he would say that, because I would wonder myself, why isn't my daddy a preacher? But my daddy, he just always said, the Lord did not call me to do that. And I see that now. But he told his testimony. I've told my testimony. And in his documentary that will be airing probably sometime next year, you will get to see what a great man he was. And the day that I was named, it was actually my aunt, his sister, that said, why don't you name her Tatum? And my dad looked at her, because Tatum is a boy or a girl's name. And to have that on you is a great honor, but to be a child, to have to follow in someone like Judge George Tatum Thrift's footsteps, that was hard. And to follow in my dad's. Now my mom, I'm so much like her. My mom, they used to call her Smiley in school, and it was so funny because she never smiled. But when my mom does, she has a beautiful smile. My mama is the most heartfelt, loving person, but she doesn't smile a lot. And if you don't know her, you look at her, might be lying. She looks like a biddy. Well, I'm gonna tell you this: she can be just like me. She don't take no crap from nobody, and that's what I love about her. So growing up, I was put on my first horse before I was a month old. Now you say, Tatum, that just sounds like a wonderful life. It was. By the time I was 4 years old, I was dancing and twirling. 6 years old, beauty pageant. 7, singing. I had a wonderful life. I mean, I grew up on Boggy Bay Stables. I mean, we raised Tennessee walking horses. We had goats, chickens. We had everything. But with having a life like that, some others might not think it's so great if they don't have the same one you do. So this is where I get into about the bullying. I had extravagant birthday parties. You know, I had people jumping out of airplanes. I had one guy in a gorilla suit. I had carnivals. I had everything. But it wasn't just about, guys, what my parents bought or gave me. It was the unconditional love that I had. Since my grandpa died young, my grandma lived with us. And so I had an extra love in the home. She wasn't only my babysitter, she did things for me, but my mom got home every day at 2:30. When I tell you, I was a daddy's girl, but I was a mama's heart. And me and my mama have a different relationship than what me and my daddy is, but my love for my mama is so strong, and I'm like her, I have a hard time expressing it. I can express to my animals, I can express to people that walk in off the street, my friends, but when it comes to me and my mom, I don't know why sometimes it's so hard, because I think I've done things in the past to hurt her, and I think I'm ashamed, and I don't know how to say it a lot of times. But let's start with the bullying and what happened in schools and what happened, in my life. It started not so much in school. Mine started in beauty pageants, baton contests, dance competitions. One time, literally in baton, a lady from a nearby town tried to have me kicked out of baton competitions. And why I say that was, you say, how did she do that, Tatum? Well, back in the day, there was this, you had 5 wins and you would move up. Anybody that's in baton knows novice, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I don't want to get too much into this and get off the subject, but this has to do with bullying. We would count certain competitions. Some of them were just kind of practice competitions. With any sport, I know you guys understand that. Well, when I didn't move up because I wasn't counting, she went to the Twirling Association. She said she was sick and tired of every time that Tatum Thrift was twirling and winning was beating her girls. Guys, I got to the point where I didn't even want to compete against them. I just wanted to do like a regular solo or stuff. And my teacher, Gina Jeffers, and anybody knows, like a second mom back then to me, she told me, Tatum, you can't do that. I have never seen my teacher get so mad in her life. Like, she fought for me. And let's just say it didn't happen, but it hurt. It hurt because I knew these children resented me, and it was a talent that I had. And guys, I want to express this. If God gives you a talent, some of us, we get more than one. Use it, and don't let anybody make you feel guilty about having that talent, because it's not your fault. God give it to you. Now, some of us have to work and don't have that natural talent. There's things that I've had to work at. A lot of y'all think that Tatum's I'm just this talent that, everything comes natural. No, it doesn't. There's some things that does not come natural to me, and I've had to work for them. And even though you do have a natural talent, guys, you still have to work on it, and you have to put in that time. If you don't, you're not going to be 110%. You're not going to be that successful at it. You're just going to be half, and nobody wants that. I went to beauty pageants. I literally had a lady stand up one time and look at her sister and say, why did you put her in this competition? Because Tatum's little princess tail is going to bring it home. I've been slapped on the school bus. I wanted to try to ride the school bus. I was slapped on the school bus. I came home. And I think that day, it really hit home with me because my mama sat me down, and my daddy was against, any kind of violence, whatever. My mama sat me down and she told me, you go back to that school tomorrow, and if anybody bullies you, you take up for yourself. I'll deal with it afterwards. So I went through school, I had them people, but from that day forward, it really took a turn with me because I was sick of apologizing for what I had. You should never have to apologize for what you have. But that doesn't mean you brag about it. You let other people toot your own horn. We've all been guilty of that. We get excited and we brag. But that's one thing about me. I will brag on others before I brag on myself, because I want it for everybody. Why can't we live in a world where we build people up? Why do we have to tear them down? But unfortunately, the world isn't perfect, and I don't think it ever will be. 8th grade year was the biggest turnaround. A girl had asked me to spend the night with her. My parents did not let me. My parents were a little strict. Believe it or not, I did not spend the night away from home. I was like 15 or 16 years old. And it was because my parents would let them come over, but I was their only child, you know. And I had been bullied, and they were protective. And this is where I get this from, guys. If someone is jealous of you, they can hurt you. I have told you this, guys, many a times, and when I tell you it's true, it's true. We'll get into that later. This girl looks at me, and she asked me to spend the night, and I told her I couldn't. The reason was, it was not that she lived in a trailer park, is what she thought. That had nothing to do with it. It was the fact that their parents wouldn't be home. And there was boys, and they allowed boys to come over and stuff. That was the reason. And I didn't want to come in and tell her all that. But she looked at me and told me my mama was stupid. And when she did, it just hit a chord. And I looked at her and I said, well, she come over into my face and tell me that. Well, let's just say that day she did. And let's just say that day I kicked some tail. And when I got to the office, one of the assistant principals looked at me and she says, what's wrong, my little princess? I mean, my little beauty queen, what happened? And I will never forget my reaction, guys. I go, well, my daddy's a thrift from a swamp, and he married a cruise from Hoboken, and they had me, and I can't help it. And my mama said, what? I didn't know what to say, guys. But let's just say that day is the day that I stopped completely being bullied, and I took matters into my own hands. But now, did it stop there? No. I just learned how to deal with it and learned how to motivate from it, and that's what we're fixing to talk about. Okay, guys, let's keep going a little bit further down the line, because I don't want to keep talking about myself. I want to hear your stories. I'm just trying to explain that it's happened to me, and that's why this month is so important to me, and I need to explain it one time so you guys understand. High school was great. I had great friends. We had great times. I did get into some fights. People will tell that about me. But one thing about me, a lot of you might not know, is I never started a fight. As I finished it, as a lot of people said. But I was my friend's protector. And that's something that I'll always be proud of. But every time that I got into a fist fight, I would cry afterwards. And a lot of my friends would ask me, Tatum, why are you crying? It's because I didn't want to fight. I would black out. Didn't know what happened. Couldn't figure out why I would black out. I would literally black out, guys, and I would go in this defensive mode. It was like my target was coming after me, and I had to protect myself. And it scared me. And I've hurt a couple people. And we speak now. Some people that I have fought with, we speak now, and I apologize, even though they might have started with me. And I'm not saying I'm the baddest person in the world. I'm not. But I can hold my own. And blacking out, I would hurt people and feel so bad about it, because my heart, especially people who've been my friends, I didn't want to do that. No matter what some people might think, it's not true at all. By the time I was 17, going to every weekend, in my childhood, every weekend I would leave school right after lunch, and I would go every weekend. I was at a baton competition, either a dancing competition, beauty pageant, singing, acting, horse show. We did Tennessee walkers. I was at some kind of event. So my childhood, a lot of people would say I didn't have a childhood. I missed a lot of stuff, but I loved what I did. My mom never made me do it. My mama pushed me because I wanted to do it. And she said, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna be 110%. But the day that I stopped wanting to do it is the day she said, we're going to pack your stuff. You're going to finish up your commitment this year, your routines, whatever. Same went for softball, tennis, basketball, track, whatever I did. She said, you finish your commitment and then you can go to the house. But she made me finish my commitment, and that's something I will always be grateful to. But at 17, my mom started to notice something, and I know some of you will be like, TMI, Tatum, TMI. But as women, you have that monthly thing, as we say. I never had one. So my mom took me to a doctor who confirmed it, but he sent me to a specialist out of Augusta. Georgia, and they confirmed that I was born without a uterus and with a pelvic kidney. You asked me, Tatum, what's a pelvic kidney? My kidney is fine. It's just one's in my pelvic, one's in my back. But it is fine. It's a functioning kidney. It works fine. I don't even know it's there. But about a year after that, they found out I had no cervix. So they sent me to counseling because they told me that I would never be able to have children. And of course, I wouldn't be able to carry it. Now, they found out later, being an athlete, you get bullied for that too. But you don't realize what a toll it puts on your body. I had a hernia. When I had to go into surgery, it was kind of emergency surgery. They thought it was either a tumor, which could have been cancer, or it was a hernia. And thank you, Jesus, it was a hernia. But when I got in the operating room, it was taking a lot longer. My mama got scared. Turns out, guys, I had a hernia, and my fallopian tubes and ovaries were wrapped around the hernia. So they had to take them out of the hernia, repair the hernia. That was the worst experiences of my life. I've had knee surgeries. Then a lot of kids wanted to bully for the fact that some even wanted to say I wasn't a woman. I didn't like to talk about it. I ended up having a breast reduction that year. I was too small for my body. When I tell you they were mean people, they were mean people. But I was strong at this point, guys, and I'm getting that. I was strong. So I dealt with it. My mama went out and bought me like 17 bikinis. And y'all talking about I was happy. Honey, I was sporting them suckers like, look at my titties. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't no hooch, but I was looking good now because I had my six-pack abs. Back then, we ain't gonna talk about the six-pack abs. I was 17, but I was looking hot, okay? Had my auburn natural hair. It's not auburn no more. It comes back brown. This is dye. But I was happy with myself, and I didn't let people tear me down. But at that point in my life, I didn't want children. I felt like God had me that way for a reason, and we're going to get to that. So after that, I just studied on going to college. I wanted to be a feature twirler and then play tennis in the off season. I was took to Florida State. They loved the way I played tennis. They seen me, and everything was going good for me. But being from South Georgia, my coach and my mom were put in, you're going to be a feature twirler at Georgia. If you don't make feature twirler, then you'll twirl on the line. But I was torn, guys, because I've said in other stuff that I loved Florida State, fell in love with it one time. But all that was put to an end. Me and 3 of my friends got in a really bad car wreck. A guy was coming home to put his ankle bracelet back on. He was in trouble with the law. He hit us and he tore both my knees. I was knocked out, but I come right back to. I stepped out, and that's when I found out about my knees. I fell to the ground. Luckily, people were there, got there. One of my friends that I was taking home, this is kind of hard to talk about. She had glass, literally. It took them years to get it all out, but her arm was stuck. She was like passed out. Her arm was stuck up under my seat, and the one that was beside me, her head hit the windshield. She was in a coma for a week in Jacksonville, and I had to go through therapy with that. When I tell y'all depression, after everything that I went through with bullying, then the depression hit. And a lot of people don't understand suicide prevention awareness is not just bullying, it's depression. And that's why I'm bringing all this up. Now, every day through this month, we will be talking about, I want you guys to send me in stories, a picture of a loved one. We're going to be rejoicing of them. And we want to tell their story. We want to put it out there to help other people. But today I'm telling you my story, because why would I ask you not to tell your story or tell your loved one's story and me not tell mine? But every day it will not be long like this. It's just so many of you send so many questions in, and y'all want to know. And I haven't been able to tell it because I've been in that depression. So we get through that, guys. They're both great now. And I had to hold off a year to try out. That was it. Then right when I thought I was going to be able to try out the second year of college and go back and do it, I got hit head on by a Domino's delivery driver. Tore my other knee, one of my knees that were actually okay from the other wreck, tore it. And then my teeth went through my mouth, and you can't hardly tell it now because the doctor literally done plastic surgery because the hospital messed up on my lip. We're not going to talk about that. And it was over for me. So then I rebelled. I started drinking and I started partying and I tried drugs. Now, people are going to say, okay, Tatum, you hate drugs. Yes, I hate drugs, and we'll get into that on another session of how I feel about people and drugs and why I feel so strongly about it. I'm just going to say I have tried drugs, but by the time I was 22, my mama looked at me one time when I done, and I'm going to just tell it like it is because I tell it. I rolled one night and then I did cocaine. I tried it and I freaked out. God knew I couldn't do drugs, okay? I'm allergic to weed. And y'all say, really, Tatum? Yes, I'm allergic to marijuana. I puke it. I can smell it like a bloodhound. If I'm drinking, I can smoke it. But later on that night, I will throw up everywhere once the alcohol's out of my system. My mama looked at me and said, I have to go to the hospital. And she said, you are Luther Thru's daughter. You will be in the front page of the newspaper. I raised you better, so you just gonna have to die. Did I ever do drugs again? Nope, never did. Now, of course, a pain pill. If you get the doctor prescribes a pain pill or something, if you have a surgery or whatever, or anxiety medicine, yes. But I'm talking about drugs, drugs. And I drank some in my 20s and 30s, and I had a good old time. But little did I know what it was leading up to. I got married when I was 21. And when I say he was a great guy, he was a great guy. I'm not going to get into that. He's actually married to my cousin now. They have been married since like 2005. And you say your cousin, let me tell you, when God puts someone in your life, it is for a reason. He was not meant for me. But them two are meant for each other. They have a beautiful son together, and then he has 2 previous children that I got a chance to help raise in their earlier years. And when I say there's no bitter animosity, nothing like that. They are great together. And guys, God does things like that. Well then, y'all say Tatum couldn't have kids. Well, let me tell you where the next part of my life come in. I met Joseph's biological dad. And when I say this, guys, do not take this the wrong way. I never loved him. I was never in love with him. I love the fact that he had Joseph, and Joseph was brought into my life. His biological daddy had a bad drinking problem. I'm not going to discuss all that. I'm not going to get into that because we have no animosity towards each other. He might have some towards me. I don't really think about him, but I love some of his family. He has family, and they don't need to hear all this. But I've had some things done to me that would be unforgivable, but God says we have to forgive. But I will never forget. And that'll be another segment that we'll be talking about, that I will get into stuff about that. And domestic violence, to me, is a type of bullying as well. It's a type of depression. And a lot of you say, Tatum, the way she can throw down, she's had domestic violence, not from just one person. But one thing about me is, you usually don't have a second chance to hit me twice. Let's just put it that way. I'm gone. It's whatever. The first time I saw Joseph, it was love at first sight. And his mom could not take care of him. And she knew my family, that we love children. And I gave up a lot for Joseph. But I do not regret one moment of it, guys. I had to marry his dad and be married to him at least for 2 years. And I did that. And I adopted Joseph. I went through a lot in them 2 years. It was actually ended up being about 5 years because it was dragged. But I got a beautiful son out of it, and I am his mama. I'm on his birth certificate, and I don't care what nobody says. he was my son. He will always be my son. I want to get into the fact that a lot of y'all know that I lost my child. And I will be putting when this segment will be airing. I know I have pushed it back, but I wanted it to air this month because of suicide awareness. No, my son did not commit suicide. But what led to his death comes in with this month. Now I want to talk about the bullying and what I went through since Joseph got hurt. This is what I'm getting to. I know I haven't told y'all everything about my life. That will be on other things in my adulthood. I'm going to speak on this because we ain't got 10 days to sit here, okay? We're going to have to put it in segments. But now I want to talk to you guys about what I have had to endure and what has had me in the biggest depression of my life. Let's talk about it. One thing about something so horrific that can happen in your life, you hear about it, but you honestly never think that it can happen to you. But trust me, it can. With Joseph being in the hospital and everything that happened to him, Joseph was a part of bullied, but Joseph didn't even realize he was being bullied. I put into that child's head every time I could think of it, Joseph, some people are going to be jealous of you. If they are, stay away from them. They'll hurt you. Okay, Joseph was a 2nd degree black belt. Joseph was a football player, a dirt bike rider. I know he was strong. But people like that, they don't fight fair. And they'll get you when you least expect it. When that airs this month, you will hear all of that. And I will be having the date and time on there. I know you said, Tatum, you did before. This is the perfect month to put it out there. But let me explain about what I went through. Literally, Joseph was in the hospital not even a week when one of the family members literally, I'm not going to name them because she has apologized. She wrote a post on a page in Waycross, Georgia, where I'm from. It was like a scanner or a rant page. She talked about me like I was the biggest piece of, you know what? She says she called it Munchausen syndrome. She said I was faking about my son. Then she said that he wasn't doing what I said he was doing. Little did they know that I was videoing it at the time when he was making progress and doing, but I haven't posted it yet. I couldn't post. Half of his skull was missing. I didn't want people to see that. I knew one day I would post it, and y'all seen it since now. She talked about all I cared about was money, how I was staying in a condo of one of my mom's friends, which was offered to me because they had one there and they come to my mom. They don't use it. They let family members use it. And it was a godsend. Okay? Now, I still had to drive about 20 minutes every day to the hospital, but them just being that act of kindness was wonderful. That wasn't my fault. We knew people that had a condo. That wasn't my fault. So she put all this in this post. She talked about the GoFundMes and how my family had, and I was using Joseph to get this. I did not make the GoFundMe's. When I want to say this, I want to look this in the camera and I want to say this. I never asked for the GoFundMe's. I never asked for t-shirts to be sold. That was one of my moms, Rhoda, that went above and beyond. She got with my dance moms and all, and they were doing all this. They told me about it after they were doing it. Guys, that was not on my mind. My mind was on my child that was laying up there in a coma fighting for his life. But of course, when you see this, when people are sending this to you, she's saying that Joseph is already dead, he's already this and that. I mean, guys, it was horrible. I can't even remember everything that was wrote. This went around. Well, I gotta say, I had some true friends because people in the community and all spoke up. They knew better than that. We had a candlelight vigil, and there was a guy that was her best friend. He literally, I don't even know how to say this, guys. They called and said that somebody was in there that tried to give Joseph, they messaged somebody and tried to give Joseph medicine to reverse him like he had a stroke, which he didn't have. I was scared to death. I thought somebody's trying to give my child medicine to try to kill him. I'm freaking out. He's telling all this. They go and put a code on the door. I can't get in there. First of all, I had custody of him. Nobody could do anything. I had to fight with the hospital every day. I was bullied constantly about I was selfish. I needed to pull the plug on my son or take him off life support, as you want to say, every single day for a month till I got him into Shepherd's. This was all going on social media. We went to Shepherd's. Now, it got a little bit better. I was in a depression. I gained like 40 pounds. I was in such a depression because I wasn't working out. I wasn't teaching. Everything consumed me, watching my child. He couldn't talk in sentences. They got into where he could do like sign language and stuff like that, basically to talk. It was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Then, closer it got to him coming home. He still hadn't fully awoke from the coma. But they told me that Joseph was a child, that he would have to be home around surroundings, and they believed he would fully wake up, which ended up happening. But now I want to tell y'all what happened while my son was in the hospital. It had happened almost a week before, but I guess they didn't have enough followers. People didn't gather who they were talking about at first, or people didn't pick it up or didn't want me to know because I was in the hospital with my son. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is because many of you have asked me to. Y'all have messaged me about, a lot of y'all know who it was. I'm going to say this. I had someone literally dress up as me, making fun of. Then I had a girl put on a goat head, a literal goat head, guys, and was making fun. Because y'all know I sing and dance with my animals. That's my therapy. And a lot of people said they could not believe how I handled it. Now, one of the girls I did talk to, she contacted me and apologized. And to me, that took a lot of guts to apologize. I told her I felt like she was a follower, and she didn't need to follow anybody like that. The other girl that did it, I was in shock because a lot of people always said she was a mean person, but now I was friends with her sister, but I never had no problem with her. And these girls have kids. That's what got me. And then they were like, it was just a joke. Well, why wouldn't you tell me you're going to do it? Or call me when you did it? I'd have laughed about it. Now, it didn't stop here. The one apologized. But I still blocked them on social media. And I know some of y'all say, Tatum, that's childish, but it's not the fact so much as they did it. It was the fact that they did it when my child was like he was. Who does that? So what did I do? One of the local influencers come to me and we made a video, and I said that we could get with Spirit Halloween, and I could give him an autograph. I sung one of my favorite songs, Fancy. Then I introduced them to the dancing sheep, Bonnie and Clyde. And I told them that they owed them an apology because sheep does not like to be called goats, and goats don't like to be called sheep. The heartwarming people and the messages that I got out of that, talking about the way I handled that. Now, back in the day, would I handle it like that? No. I done went up to where they was and said, make fun of me to my face. And then we rolled. And now one of them I know ain't a fighter. One of them I think she is a little bit, but she say what she want to, but I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want none of this, I promise you. And I'm going to say this, it don't matter if I can fight or not, but what I had going on, I wouldn't have. When somebody's mad or hurt because of what their child's going through, I wouldn't want to tangle with them at all. And let's just say this. I've decided I'm not revealing the names. If somebody else reveals them, that's fine, but I'm not going to reveal them. I'm going to be better than that. I'm going to be able to look myself in the face and say, because they both work for themselves. And I don't wish them any harm. And I know some of you think, Tatum, come on now. I don't. One of them, I will say, is a hairdresser. And I wish her nothing but the best. And I hope that she continues to do hair. Do not ask me who it is. I'm not going to tell you. Some of you know who it is. And I will say, shame on her. Shame on her. She never apologized. But guess what? She has to live with that. And I don't need an apology. My son is gone now. I do not need an apology. But what I will say about this is, teach your kids not to do the same thing you did. Teach them to be better. And to the other one, they just opened up a business in my small town. And some of you that know that she was the one of the girls, y'all literally messaged me and like having a cow that, I need to say something. She's got a business and everybody thinks she's just this sweet, innocent girl. She did apologize to me. And I wish her nothing but the best. I've even walked up in her business. I've looked at things in her business since she's opened up. I haven't tried the other half of the business, but I have walked through the business. I'm going to say it's very nice in there, very beautiful. Not my cup of tea, but y'all know I'm different in wearing stuff. But now, a lot of people that I know and friends, they like that type of stuff. So, but I wish her nothing but the best. And I wish you nothing but the best. And I appreciate your apology. I feel like you were more a follower in that sense. And I hope to God that you have changed and you learn from it and that you never do that to anybody else. But I will say, yes, I'm strong. And no, you did not break me. There was a lot of other things going on in my life. But I wish you nothing but the best. But teach your children better. Don't ever hurt nobody. When they're at their lowest like that, do not try to bury them. And if it was a joke, it was a bad one. It was a bad timing. And you should have told me it was a joke. And you should have called me afterwards. And for the one that did apologize, thank you. I'm over it now. I'm actually over it. That's why I'm putting it to rest. I'm putting it to bed. And I'm not going to say your name. Because I'm not going to be like that. But some people does know who it is. And I'm not going to be mad if they support your business. But to do that when someone's child's laid up, shame on you. But God bless both of you. And I hope you nothing but the best. That's where I want to get on things about that. I recently went through something, and I'm going to wait to another day, and we're going to talk about that probably tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Recently, headlines where people put on their local celebrity gets caught for stealing. I'm going to clear all that up. And, local rapper, one guy, he wanted to post that. And, I even wrote a song about him. Because I was like, I'm going to go in the studio, and I'm going to get on it about him. But I'm not going to do that. You know why? He ran for something, he didn't make it. Was he mad? It's just stupid. Thank you for caring about me so much, both of you guys, that you had to write about me. I hope you feel better about yourself. And I wish you and your family nothing but the best. And I'm going to rise above it, okay? I've been also talked about, and I know in a salon, someone came to me. People think people don't come to me. I have a lot more people that love me than hate me, okay? And talked about, you know, my song, and, you know, it was pitiful, and blah, blah, blah. Here's my thing. I've never said I was a singer. I'm an entertainer. There's a difference. And I ain't seen you do nothing. So shut up, okay? And here's my thing. If you got so much to say about me, say it to my face. And I'm gonna drop that right there. Say it to my face. You're not gonna say it to my face. So move on with yourself, okay? Good luck, God bless you, and I hope you just continue to cut hair and I continue to do good. I'm not gonna say the name of that salon. And here's my thing though. You know who you are, you know who makes fun of me. You know when your clients come in there and they sit down at your daggum section and you're sitting there talking about me. Whoever owns that business, you need to say something. I don't care if they rent a booth or a chair, whatever. That looks bad on you. I will say this though, the next time that I hear about it, I will out you. And I'll out you across all my platforms, because it's wrong. It's wrong to do it to anybody. So stop it. Okay, enough of that. Now I want to get into this. I've told you some of my stories, what I went through. One more thing I do want to say. The day that my dad was going to be buried, one of the guys that hangs around the family that hurt my son sent me a private message and said, called my dad a pedophile, then said, I'm going to go and, excuse my language, this is what was said, I'm going to shit and piss and take a shot on your daddy's grave and watch you clean it up. Sick. That's just some of the stuff. I'm going to hush there though. I'd be here all day. But what my thing is with telling you all this is I'm trying to prove a point. You rise from it. One of the things that I want to tell you, all you kids, not just kids, as adults, before we wrap all this up, I want you to take your experiences, take your depression, take your grief, make it a platform. Tell your stories. There are so many out there. There are so many families that have sent me their stories and talked about them and asked me for advice. Pick a YouTube. Use YouTube. Use TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. It doesn't matter. Pick a platform. Use them all. Tell your story. Start documenting it. If you just sit in your bedroom and you start talking about stuff, people will listen. You're not alone. I promise you, you're not alone. Take the time. Love yourself. You've got to love yourself before you can love anybody else. Trust me on that. I took my animals. My animals are my biggest therapy. Of course, I've got made fun of for it. I kiss a dog on the mouth, or I kiss a goat on the mouth. Yeah, I kiss them on the mouth. What do you do? Nothing. So shut up, okay? So what I do, I went and made a video and I kissed every one of them right on the mouth. That's what I do. I love my animals. They are my everything. Not everything. But they're my guidance to wellness. Then I took to my social media and I built my platform. I already had a platform, but it was dying every day because I didn't care anymore. I didn't care to post. I didn't care for y'all to see me, but I posted. 40 pounds heavier and all, I posted. No makeup, it didn't matter. I posted. I let you see me. I told you what I was going through. I shared my son's story with the world. Traumatic brain injury. I shared it. What happened? I shared it. And I got his story out. And now I'm getting my story out. It's time for my story. Because I want y'all to see how bad it was. I couldn't get out of bed, guys. I could not get out of bed. I would stay up all night because, and people ask, why stay up all night? It's because that was my time of sitting there. I cried at the computer. I wrote at the computer. I watched everything. I wrote stuff down. I let it all out. I made videos, and then I slept all day. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want people to see what I felt like a failure was, because everybody knew Tatum. They knew the happy-go-lucky, like never failed in anything she did. But I was failing. I didn't love myself no more. I didn't want people to see that. I never thought of committing suicide. I will say that. I never thought about that. But I felt like I was dying, if that makes any sense. I felt like I was dying. I couldn't move. I'm on Zoloft now. I found out I am bipolar. A lot of you did not know that. I've not shared that. That's why I would black out when I got in the fights years ago. My bipolar is there's so many different types of bipolar. Mine is if I feel threatened, if I don't have medicine, that I freak out and the mood swings come. I don't see people, nothing like that, but I do take Zoloft, and Zoloft has been a change in my life. Y'all just don't know. But I couldn't get up, guys. I couldn't. Only time I would get up is to go sit with my animals. And losing your dad and losing your child, there's no worse depression than that. So when I tell you to make your stories, it's not just helping other people, it's helping yourself, because you're healing in that by telling them. You're healing in your stories and you're telling it like it is, and who cares? But here's the thing, you're going to get bullies. You're going to get people who go, block them. Block them. One more time, block them. Delete comment. That's what I do. Now some of you say you should leave them. No, I don't want to see them. I don't want no negative. They will make fake profiles. When you see one that you think is fake, go ahead and block it. Do it, but make your platform. Tell your story. I want your guys' stories. If you have one, I want you to send it to me. There will be an email after this. Please send it. Send a picture and then tell a paragraph. Tell us a story, so we can tell the story. I will also be picking one, maybe more, to go live with on a Zoom on my channel to tell your story. And I also will be sending you some free merchandise of Joseph's. So, think about that. I've already told you guys jealousy is dangerous. Stay away from them people. You surround yourself with people who are truly happy for you. They're there for you when you have an opening, or you have something launching, or you just have a birthday. They're there, unless they can't be, but they still acknowledge it, that you're turning another year. They're not happy for you, stay away from them. Say hey to them when you see them maybe, but get them out your life. Last thing I want to say is you are a child of God and you are loved. I love you. If you need to talk to someone, you reach out. There's all kind of people out there that are willing to talk to you. Do not get in such a deep depression that you think of taking your own life. I beg of you. Your life is precious. Listen to me when I tell you. You are loved. You deserve to be here. No one is better than you are. You have your strengths. Now use them. Tell your story. Trust me. This right here started when I was in 9th grade, when I was 14 years old. People writing and putting in the box and asking me questions for the high school, for the news show. Now look at where I am today. My cards with my own little name on them. Guys, we all struggle. I struggled. I'm still struggling, but I'm getting through. And I ain't hit the top again yet, but I'm working my way there. People are going to talk about you. They're going to hate on you. Use it. That's all tonight for Just Ask Tatum. Is I wanted tonight to be the launch. And I know we got a little bit overtracked. I got sidetracked and I talked like I would be talking to someone walking in off the street. But that's what this is about. It's my show. I can do what I want. Tomorrow will be a little different. Please, look behind this. You'll see the email. Send me your stories. If you for some reason can't email, send them on Just Ask Tatum. I will check my messages. I have moderators that check. Let us see your story. We will be picking one. We might pick another one. If we've got so many good ones, we might have to pick more than one to do a Zoom and a live. And I will be giving away some Joseph merch. Joseph Strong, Justice for Joseph. I love you guys. Make sure to hit that like and follow button. And remember, guys, no one's better than nobody. And you deserve to be loved just like everybody else. I love you guys. That's all tonight for Just Ask Tatum. And remember, wear yellow. I didn't have any. Wear yellow. And remember people, some people can't take things. So be careful what you say to people and check on your friends. Because like me, if my friends didn't know me as well as they did, you'd never know I've ever been depressed. But it's real, guys. And it's harmful. I love you guys. God bless you. Till tomorrow. That's all night for Just Ask Tatum. Bye, guys.